I just want to start off by thanking everybody for being here, and I just want it to be known that I came down here today to listen. That was my primary objective, and I got to say that I'm leaving taking in a lot of good messaging, and I'm very happy that I came down, and everything that was said by everybody at the podium will be given thoughtful consideration, and I will be bringing it back to all of my command staff and officers.
What happened? Do you have that video where the surveillance video where Officer Palmer is saying that his name is Wednesday, a gounder of death on camera tire slashing?
Yeah, that video would be considered evidence right now. It's been turned over to the district attorney's office, and I do not have the authority to comment on it or to release it at this point. That would have to go through his office.
So the questions that are coming up is the fact that some believe he says to the suspect after speaking with the neighbor, my neighbor has surveillance, so I'm trying to get a hold of that. And then he says to them, you're on surveillance doing this. The body cam footage that was released by Schenectady Police doesn't show that he saw that video.
Yes, again, I would say that the officer at the time was acting upon information that was given to him by the complainant. And any further comment on that would have to be turned over to the district attorney's office to go further into the analysis of that.
That is the Mayor McCormick would be here today.
I did touch base with him, and he had a conflict. He couldn't be here, but I did let him know that I would be here on behalf of the city.
Saying you just told us that you digested a lot of information, you came here to listen. What are you going to bring back to your officers based on what you learned today?
Yeah, I thought that you might ask that question, and at this point right now, I'd like to bring back all of it. I'm hoping that I can find online somebody that filmed the entire thing. What really struck a chord with me was Pastor Harris and what she said, and that is one message that I delivered yesterday at our 3rd platoon afternoon lineup, right after I'd seen you, and I delivered a version of that, but her version is much more thorough and really touches your heart, and I'll be bringing that version back also.
Is there only one neighbor surveillance footage, or is there multiple?
I believe there's only one, but I'm not positive. I know that there's a front surveillance and a rear surveillance, but I'm not sure of any other ones that exist.
Do you know what time the alleged tire slashing occurred?
I do not have that off the top of my head, no.
I keep hearing the message that you can't comment about the ongoing investigation. I'm going to assume it's a no, but it's worth asking. Is Chris Persad the person on the video surveillance from the neighbor that is seen slashing the tires? Because he's very adamant that he's not that person.
Right. That is part of an active investigation right now at the district attorney's level and on our level as a follow-up. So I cannot comment on that right now.
Have you spoken to your officer since this transpired?
I have.
Are you allowed to talk about that conversation you've had with him?
I prefer not to. Anybody
So
else?
what goes from here? Desk duty, and then
Yes.
you have an answer next week, you said, possibly?
We hope to have I hope to have a report on my desk regarding this incident by sometime next week, and then once I have that report, I will have to review it. Many times I review reports and they get sent back for further analysis or work. But once I get that report, we'll go from there, and it could be as soon as the end of the week, or we'll go one day at a time after that.
And can you elaborate on what the recommendations were to the police and the Public Safety Commissioner, Michael Idens, from the mayor of the city of Schenectady?
He has not given us any recommendations. He has simply said it's being passed over to the commissioner, who has oversight on discipline and our process, which I will try to, I will be working early next week to post it online, our discipline procedure. But the procedure is that it is reviewed by our Office of Professional Standards with the Assistant Chief of the Bureau, and that they decide on the charges. They are forwarded to me for a thorough review for appropriateness. Once I sign off on them, they are filed with the commissioner, and at that point, I have the 15-day time period to make a recommendation to the commissioner, and I'm getting the cart in front of the horse right now. This is with the assumption, and I hate to make assumptions, but this is with the assumption that there will be charges.
Now, the big thing was, Pastor Harris said, she's from New Jersey and she saw the big thing with you guys kneeling with the protesters, and then she said she was home and then she heard the news made on national TV. How did that make you feel today?
Yeah, I'm kind of aligned with her thoughts and feelings on this. I think this is our policing society right now. A lot of highs and a lot of lows. And after on June 1st, I got a lot of positive emails. I got a lot of positive feedback. And after July 6th, I've gotten a lot of negative feedback. I've gotten a lot of negative emails. And I think that all I would really say is that trust our actions afterwards. This isn't going to be flip the switch and problem solved type of reform in policing. It's going to take time. It's going to take conversations. I'm very happy to be working with Dr. Butler and the NAACP in addition to other organizations to have these conversations. And I can't do this on my own. I said that already. And I'm very thankful that they are willing to help us in this, and together we'll get through this.
So this is probably a week you weren't expecting to happen, on July 1st. You probably weren't thinking that a week like this you would have to deal with. So what has this week been for you?
It hasn't ended. Every day's gone into another one. I have to keep reminding myself that today's Saturday. But it's been challenging because in addition to analyzing the incident itself, I have 159 police officers who need to be led, and this is a very turbulent time for them. And I'm doing my best to lead them, to give them guidance, and the times that are very challenging for them. They just got done working 6 months straight. Nobody took a day off through a pandemic, and then May 31st happened with George Floyd, and it made policing even harder. And it's fair to say that the events of last Monday have made it even harder. So they've been going through a lot, and I have their well-being to take into consideration also.
Can you say if you support their actions that day, your officers' actions that day?
Well, I support and I'm proud of my officers every day. Do we have times where I feel that we haven't met expectations? Of course. On that day, there's a little bit of both. And I don't want to get into details of what I liked and what I didn't like, but I will at some point. But there were some things on that day that made me proud, and there were some things on that day that didn't make me proud. But these are the feedback that will be given to the officers directly first before I speak publicly about them.
And could you just clarify the charges comment? I thought you said yesterday to me that it was likely that he wouldn't be arrested. Do you mean charges by violating department policy charges?
Yeah, there's a difference between being arrested and being disciplined.
Yeah.
So we always have two investigations going on whenever force is used. It's the investigation by the district attorney's office on whether the force used was justified. That would lead to an arrest if it wasn't. And then there's the force being used, whether it was in policy. And then, so it's a separate investigation. That's where our Office of Professional Standards comes into play. So.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thanks. Thank you for speaking with us. I appreciate it. Have a nice day.